And of course, the people of Darfur are going to win. Yesterday, we received news that the former president of Liberia, Mr. Charles Taylor, was convicted for war crimes and crimes against humanity. Well, we say, what about Omar el-Bashir? We say here today, Bashir needs to be arrested. He's a fugitive from justice. And we say, arrest Bashir. Arrest Bashir.
Arrest Bashir.
Now, it was 2009 that the International Criminal Court found Bashir guilty of war crimes and crimes against humanity. And then a year later or so, he was found guilty of genocide. So we say, arrest him. He's a fugitive from justice. He needs to be brought to trial, and we believe he will be convicted. Now, what are the crimes? Well, in 1916, the British conquered the proud, independent nation of Darfur and decided to annex it or merge it with Sudan and appoint Arab rulers. Obviously, a problem was in the making. And then around 2003, I remember the United Nations and then Secretary of State Colin Powell declared that the crises in Darfur created by Omar el-Bashir was the worst humanitarian crisis in the world today at that time. They claimed 200,000 people had been killed. Well, the figures have increased substantially. It has been estimated that 500,000 Darfuris have been killed. 800,000 women and girls have been raped. 3,400 villages destroyed. 4 million people homeless in displaced persons camps, they call it. In addition to the 300,000 in camps in other countries, primarily Chad. Bashir has been found guilty of these atrocities and he needs to be jailed. Now, you might be asking me, well, how do you know? Well, I've spent time in the refugee camps. I visited Gaza on several occasions. We have transported material support there. I personally took it off of the trucks and personally put it on the barge here, or the full 40-foot container here in Newark, New Jersey. I personally have spoken to all of the freedom fighters, practically all of the freedom fighters. I've journeyed up and down Chad in a car, speaking to the farmers, the chiefs, the educators, the religious leaders, and they all give the same testimony. First came the bombers, the planes, and bombed. Then came the horseback riders, the Janjaweeds, and began to wreak violence and murder and rape upon the people of Darfur. Bashir need to be jailed. Put him in jail. He need to go to jail, put handcuffs on him, and take him to jail. He is guilty. 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 Guilty is charged. But that's not all. After a 25-year war in the South Sudan waged by the North, al-Bashir, 25 years, 2 million people killed, indigenous Africans killed, primarily Christians, not that religion plays into it. And after 25 years, finally, a comprehensive peace agreement was signed in 2005, and part of that agreement called for a plebiscite. That is, the people will have an opportunity to vote whether they want to continue united with the North or whether they wanted independence. And in 2011, the people voted independence. South Sudan voted to be independent from the North. But again, al-Bashir refused to accept the verdict, and so has waged overt and covert war against the people of the South, and he needs to be in jail. He is guilty.